1 to the 2, 2, 3 to the 4. All right. Checking everything out. Okay. So what happens? Just share sound. How does that work? I'll let you see that. I started. Yeah.
Avunda Bashmaya, Netkare Shabach, Tete Malkuta, Nechwe Siliana Kaikana, the Bashmaya of Baara, Havlan Lakma, the Soon, Mashbuklan Halbain,
Walk the hand.
Aikana Dakana, Wile Takla
Shina.
Minishina,
Ela Pasamin Bisha. Matulila Kimakuta. Ahila Wateshbokta. Lu'alam. Amin. Amen.
O God, Father, Mother of the cosmos, focus your light within us.
Make it useful.
Your
Rays of unity now.
Your one desire then acts with love. Grant each
Mhm.
support of the faith binding us as we release the strands we hold of others' gifts. Don't let surface things elude us. Free us from what holds us back. From you is born all ruling realms, the power and the life to do, the song that beautifies all, from age to age illuminates. Truly, power to these statements. May they be the ground from which all my actions grow. Amen. Abuze Bashmaya, Natkada Shemach,
Tete Malkuta.
Yahweh Sikyale Karkana, the Bashmaya Ata Ara, Havlon Lakma, the Sunkanam Yamala, Washtuklan Habe Wak Dehe, Ikana Dofkanam Shwakala Highway, Weda Taklan and Ishina, Ela Pasam Mimisha, Matuli Lakin Marukuta, Wahala Teshbukta, Lo Alam, Amen, Amen.
Wahela. Wateshbokta. go ahead and admit you, dear one. Yes. It's just playing a little music, Lady Ja. Let's talk about that Shakti a minute, just a minute. How you feeling? We made it to another day, another opportunity.
Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Namo Namo.
That energy that allows us to move and create, and manifest Shakti. How it flows throughout all creation, especially in that Kundalini energy.
Adi Shakti, Namo Namo, Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Namo Namo. Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Namo Namo. Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Namo Namo. Kundalini, Mata Shakti, Mata Shakti.
Yes, yes.
Namo, Adi Shakti.
All right.
Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti.
Namo Namo.
Sarva Shakti.
Yes, Shakti. So we got that Shakti experience coming in. Okay, so let's do a little business here. Let's do that right there. And let's do this right here. Oh. Did you come in as a co-host, Jacinta? Did they remember you as a co-host?
I think it's because I was logged into yours.
You're
too.
already in there.
I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, they call you the co-host. How'd you come up with my picture? Did you do that? Such a mystical being. Such a mystical being. All right. So let's give it a moment, see if anybody is able to shift their time. Oh. Ah, I have a twin. That's special business. Wow, in the new location. And a new location, Jacinta. Real interesting. Okay. All right, so we shall proceed and continue to rock the mic. In the name of our soul, we will let it unfold. All the wisdom can flow from our soul. Because why? Never grow old. Never grow old. Okay, enough of these shenanigans, Aka. Welcome to our Wednesday circle that has moved to Thursday because your brother was traveling and overbooked himself and realized it in the wee hours of the night. Okay, so here we are, and we will hold the space for this sacred circle. This is where we gather around what we have been naming the fire of love. This energy of creation that comes to us through the life force and consciousness that we breathe in, recognizing that as the supreme love takes care of everything we need to do the things we want and everything we want to do the things we need. Yeah, we might have to go through some challenges. We might have to deal with a few things. We might have an opportunity to recognize who we truly are or not. Either way, that love is coming to us. So that's why we're giving it the name love. And when we do that around this fire, we're allowing all other energies to be transmuted by that fire when we recognize we are the energy embodied by that love. We are the energy embodied by that intelligence. So we let the mind go here. We practice going within. And that is the meditative journey of this group spiritual coaching. Is that we go into the moment and allow intuition with our practice, inspiration. We allow, got a little distracted from the administrative activities, but we allow ourselves to be in the recognition that we are vibratory energy with infinite creative potential. Therefore, we give the mind something to focus on, which is being in service to this infinite creative energy that we are calling the soul. Yeah. And many other traditions do the same. That infinite creative energy that has come with an individual expression that is part of the whole as your soul. Yeah. And there is this energy around this 4th month, April, and bringing an activation as we have been embodying the months of the year to represent a frequency and vibration, not just a Gregorian representation of a particular month where things happen, but looking at the frequency of the numbers that the month represents. So January, thinking about the resolutions, our identity, how things are very internal and very identified with who we are. How are we going to begin the year? What is it going to be like? There's a lot of visioning from an internal perspective. So looking at that energy of number 1 is identity into how we relate with the physical world from that energetic identity. Right? That's what we're representing that fire as, that energetic identity that is the pure essence of who we are, dwells within us and all around us. All right, so 2, that energy of love, right? This relationship. Yeah. Then moving into the 3, which is a sense of embodiment of identity in the physical. And now there is an angle, a higher vibration. You know, if we have that first point, being born, traveling on the earth, being in that identity of this physical exchange with duality, and then boom, we find an angle where we can elevate into a higher vibration, into a higher consciousness, and thus experience of creation. So this is where that energy of creation begins to ignite, as it is called the fire of creation in the 3rd line of the Lord's Prayer, right? And then here we are now in the month of April. Yeah. Think about that. Think about the month of March has the energy of resurrection. I don't know if I've said that before, but in this moment, it's really coming home that we have the energy of spring with the spring equinox. So the planets in terms of moon, sun, and earth with their dance initiates this change in Mother Earth where there's an expansion of light and consciousness. So that is another way of rising out of the physical into the light of consciousness. Yeah. So that is an interesting thing to consider as we then now are in the month of April. Yeah. Where we are acknowledging the energy of the heart center, this balancing energy that we have come to represent. And looking at this heart center that has this energy, right? This energy of balance and this energy of peace. When that balance is activated. So here's where today we're going to drop into some pranayama nourishment, yeah, that allows us to experience that, that sense of peace in this moment, to experience the moving inward to a space, as last week we were speaking about. All right, yay, Juliet got the memo. Let's let her connect. But yes, as we were speaking last week about this idea of nourishing, feeding the soul, right? Feeding that soul through heart-centered living, right? That true soul food, when it comes to recognizing that there is an infinite power. Welcome, Juliet. There is an infinite power. And we are the embodiment of it. And we can recognize that sat, that we can recognize that truth, that we are an embodiment of that creative energy. So now when we recognize, as our theme is, I am now nourished to rise to my true nature. And we were speaking last week about the creative power of heart-centered living, that heart-centered living being a way to feed your soul, right? To feed your soul takes the mind out of it, takes the mind out of attempting to calculate what's going on. And for us, feeding the soul, sitting at the table, the bowls of abundance are overflowing with various types of pranayama, various, types of mantra, hors d'oeuvres of mantra. There are various beverages of different breathing exercises where you can be still and feed your soul. So today we're going to dive into the breath in a way that we are really recognizing the rise of the sun, illuminating this consciousness, the consciousness of the fact that we have an ability to feed our soul, right? We have that ability to step into our creative power. It's there for us to access. So now we have an experience of co-participating in this life, where it's not necessarily two, but the two came from one, and then the two added a one and became three, and now there's we. Right? There's we. There's what we are up to, what we are doing, and now there's no reason to be alone. And then we step into adding one to the three, because we're part of oneness, and then we add more oneness to our being, and then we can experience the frequency increasing to the four. And now we're at the center of what we adore. Woo, this goes rolling. We're at the center of what we adore. We adore this energy, this Shakti, taking care of us. And we know we're taken care of. So then there's this deep sense of being here, being present, right? And think about that. That's how we begin to distinguish between dropping into our heart center to feed our soul, to direct our mind towards that activity of dropping into the heart center to feed our soul. Well, welcome, Pete, to the L. Welcome. Yes, we have reached in to the corner flow. So that's where we are into that responsibility of feeding our soul, our topic, how to feed your soul and why it's important. Okay, so for all of you who are just coming, we have a buffet before us. I think that's even in the 23rd Psalm. He prepareth a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Whoa. And so now what we're saying is that table has been prepared with all the ancient ways to connect to feeding your soul. You got bowls of fresh salads of different pranayam exercises. You got all kind of entrees of mantra. You got all kind of desserts, right? Of different ways of breathing. All of these ancient, now dig it, ancient techniques. We got them written down 5,000 to 10,000 years back. But if we have our teachings from Dhyani Yahu, our indigenous teachings from this place named America, and she says her lineage of the Salagi, Cherokee lineage of her teachings that she received from her elders, the people of the fire, they can trace their teachings back 133,000 years. So what's happening? Who are we really? And this is where, as she says, this is where we breathe and we chant. Even for them, the chanting and drumming were a significant part of learning and balancing, a balancing activity. So let us return so we can awaken to our superpowers, meaning that we can go beyond the nature that we are given and step into our supernatural powers and really feel the presence of this energy that has been identified for us called our soul. And instead of focusing on the challenges that we face, we use the challenges as indications, as like a light on the dashboard of your car. What's the most important feature of your dashboard? I mean, you look at your dashboard, right? It's giving you information about the vehicle and its needs. Yeah. So in order to keep up with those needs, you need to know if it's at an optimal level, those needs, so that the vehicle can function. To know that your temperature is balanced. Yeah. To know that, your oil is doing okay. To know that your engine is doing well and there's no need to service it. And the most important one is your energy level of the car, right? Whether it's an electric car or a gas-powered car or hybrid, you still need to know the energy level of your vehicle so you know if you can get from point A to point B to point C and back home again. Yeah, and point D, let's keep in that 4 realm, 4 directions, or point D and get home again. Right? So you need to have your eye on the what? You need to keep your eye on the gas tank. Yeah. So this is the thing I want you to focus on, family. When it comes to navigating these times as the sun, and it's only going to grow more intense. But as I say that, sometimes even inside myself, it's like, man, how much more can I handle? Versus, wow, we're going to be having more access to the energy of consciousness to create with. So as we started this month, what seeds are you planting? In particular, when we were honoring the equinox, what seeds have you gathered to plant? And if you're still needing to identify your seeds, you can always get in touch with me, but let it be to feed your soul. Because that is a major seed. Let it be to feed your soul. So just like your vehicle that you ride around this physical world in, called a car, or whatever vehicle you choose to move yourself around, that we look at this body and the energy that it needs. So let's just transpose that metaphor now into this vehicle. And this is where we were last week, in tapping into that ability to turn this vehicle as a house into a home for our soul. Right? So when we are at the root of the week before that, being in our heart-centered living, then that's the way we can begin to root our mind into the heart center. Because the processing of the life force, the Shakti, is going on here. And this is where it is so important, with all the revelations that are going to take place and continue to take place. When we drop into our heart center, we're feeding our soul. Then we become aware, with this expansion of consciousness, we become aware of our abilities as a superhuman being. Some of us has taken that vow to be, hey, Carol, some of us has taken that vow to be creative energy beings. And so with that vow now, there is this sense of awakening with the sun. We are moving as the sun, climbing and growing more conscious of who we are, not just of what humans are doing with their mass consciousness and the lower vibrational activities of groping or grabbing or seeking power on the outside. No, we know the power is already within us to create. So we are clearing the channels so we can recognize that more and more, be able to heal the bodies when the bodies are expressing challenges, need for more prana. The prana gauge is a little low, and we get a chance to activate it. As the sun grows, it becomes an ally. Why? Because our nervous system flows with the energy of light that flows from the sun. It is powered by it. It is said to move at the speed of light, the way our nerve impulses flow. It's said to move at the speed of light. And then there is the superhuman quality, right? With the flow of prana, which is said to move faster than the speed of light. So there's, and on, right? Then we haven't identified it, but there's probably some ultra speed that goes faster than the prana's movement throughout creation, right? Where it gets to be just simply in the moment and instantaneous, right? You instantaneously come into your enlightenment, where the darkness within gives birth, not just as a dark, as Disney might project the negative of being dark, whatever that dark character is, whatever that dark character may be in our life, the bones in our closet, our shadows. But no, they are it is the birthplace for consciousness. Consciousness emerges out of this stillness, which could be considered dark if there's no movement of light. It gives birth to light. So why am I saying that? We're experiencing conflict. It's really at an incredible, what level to call it. I was going to call it some kind of level, but we're seeing the conflict in the world. And we know it's televised and it's not televised. There are people that are still protecting the rainforest. People are protecting trees in Costa Rica. There is the conflict of advancement of the desire to create that may be unconscious, creating in areas, you know, the rainforest down in Brazil, the rainforests all over the world, rainforests in Africa. I was just watching something about Jane Goodall and her effort, you know, to save the chimpanzees that went into realizing it was not just the chimpanzees that needed saving. It was basically the source of all life on our planet, which is for a physical experience to be had, which is Mother Earth. Yeah. So we have distilling that into our own experience. We have these energies that we are experiencing. And what we're saying today, family, the importance of using the experience of life to feed your soul is that it will allow the mind to move away from its meaning-making design. And therefore, it'll move the connection to the past away from the forefront of your experience. And then you'll drop into that infinite creative space that, with the rise of the sun in the horizon and the increase of consciousness, that you're not only seeing the increase in awareness of the activity of humans and how our activity is affecting Mother Earth and all living things, including each other, that you move beyond that consciousness into the consciousness of your soul. And there you will arrive at the experience of your infinite creative potential and access to the prana, the life force, to take care of it. Because the ideas that you have are intended to be taken care of. You can think about the stories you would tell that create the experiences that don't support you. The thoughts that you have. Yeah, quick thought. The thought that I have some time of traveling because there's so many loopholes to jump through and pay attention to. So there are these thoughts that, why do I have to do this? Can I just be still? I just want to be still. Then that thought will connect to a thought of childhood and always moving around. Then an anxious thought will come. So to hone in, and when I feel that, then I say, okay, hold. Take that long, deep breath. Do it with me. Do it with me as we roll into a little reading about the importance of realizing the peacekeeper mind. Let's take a deep inhale together. Now, let me know. Oh, can't hear me. I've been speaking all this time and I can't be heard. Let's look. Everything is plugged in. Tell me how I sound, Jacinta, now. Okay, Juliet, you hear me? Jacinta, am I still low to you? Phil, are you there? How do I sound to you before I continue? Okay. Okay. All right, we're good. Okay, technology check, family. All right. So just an acknowledgement as we get into our breath, get into a little Shakti prana. As we get into our breath, I want you to have a sense that we're using these dynamic movements, beginning with subtle movement of becoming aware of our core and becoming aware of our internal source, the internal source of our experience of life, rather than the five senses giving us an understanding that we are experiencing life. You know, we hear what's going on social media, we see what's going on social media and mainstream news, or we might see something come across our screen of life, you know, thinking, right, our screen of life, yeah, that that is not the indication that we are living. The indication that we are living is that we are receiving this life force in consciousness. So let's allow that to sink in for a moment, to consider that we are living. The proof of that, the truth of that, the sat of that we can identify, nam, is that we are given ability to take, to breathe. So experience that inhale, long and deep, and that exhale. Now I'm going to kind of dub y'all peace chiefs. As this chapter I'm reading from is about generating the peacekeeper mind. And this is in a book called Voices of Our Ancestors. It may come out backwards for you. You put it in, it'll show up, but Dhyani Yahoo. Dhyani Yahoo. She is an elder that has been very influential in my life. This book. Didn't have a chance to physically meet her yet, but I look forward to that day. So in this chapter, the peacekeeper holds the vision of peace for all beings in all worlds as beauteous expression of harmony and balance resonating throughout thought, word, and deed. The peacekeeper sees all in good relationship, perceiving the underlying unity of creation. Perceiving the underlying unity of creation. That reminds me of the first line of the Lord's Prayer in a transliterated thought or sentence, if you will. Instead of our Father, which art in heaven, our birth in unity. So our birth, the birth of our existence, is emerging out of unity. So as we feel this breath, feel it reminding you, your mind, that is, of your architectural design of oneness. The peacekeeper knows that each being is empowered by will to choose, wisdom to see, and intelligence to act. All beings together weaving the dream of our shared reality. Recognizing the patterns of mind manifests as one's individual, family, clan, national, and planetary relationships. Recognizing that patterns of mind manifest as one's individual, family, clan, national, and planetary relationships. The peacekeeper turns aside anger, doubt, and fear, harmonizing conflicting emotions through complementary resolution. The peacekeeper acts with consideration for future generations. This is what Dalai Lama was talking about with regard to compassion being a powerful energy in the universe. The peacekeeper acts with consideration for the future generations, with the mind of compassion, I'm adding that in, the mind of preserving life, and that which enriches living. And what is that? Pranayama, babies. I don't mean to call you babies. Sons and daughters if you're in Jamaica, right? But this is the importance, if I can stress it today, or if I can bring big highlighter to the importance, right? To feed your soul and why it's important. Acts with consideration for future generations. That's love. With the mind of compassion. That's love. We threw that in. Preserving life. That's love. Love regenerates life. Looking at consciousness and prana being that love. And that which enriches life. And that's the creative process that comes from that love, consciousness and prana, as love gives us the ability to create. All right, so calling on the peacekeeper, that peacekeeper within you, and that peacekeeper mind. So as you take these breaths, we know as we breathe consciously, we are moving in to our creative nature and out of simply surviving this life. We're moving into creative solutions. You might not see it, but you know life is synchronized. You know that. The fact that you're here, you know that it's synchronized. So let's drop into these breaths, these hors d'oeuvres and entrees and desserts and beverages of prana and life force and consciousness. Let's drop into this and really feel that we are taking in this energy that one allows us to be present, and two allows us to be aware of our infinite creative abilities that are utilized, guiding the mind, utilized in the name of love, utilized in the name of being creative love. Okay, come with your spine nice and tall. Okay, great. Thank you for that input, P. Brother Phil. So we're going to move on. Now everybody's okay to moving into our buffet of life force and consciousness. Yep. So we can literally just wash ourselves clear of the past and step into the infinite knowing peacekeeper within. Yeah, that infinite energy that acts within us. Looking at peacekeeping is not something we do, but when we focus on the breath, the process of the creator in our design is keeping us in balance, and looking at that balance as an expression of harmony, as an expression of peace, as an expression of health. And coming into that conscious breathing is bringing us into oneness with the intelligent energy of creation, which is bringing all of those attributes that we just read is bringing all of that integration into life. And we get a chance to co-participate with that and co-create with it. So have that sense of whatever challenge you're facing, have that sense that the challenge is an absolute, just like Satnam, absolute truth. It is an absolute opportunity. Spine is nice and straight, okay? Hands are on the knees. So whichever way you're sitting, hands are on the knees. And you begin breathing in and arching the pelvis forward, exhaling, coming back on the tailbones, bringing the hips back. So really flexing those hips to create movement in the spine. So the shoulders are staying centered. The shoulders are not moving back as you're moving the hips. You're really sinking the mind into your root center where you have the abilities energetically to name creation, right? Talked about that root center. So it's a deep inhale. And if you're new to a movement like this, we're opening up our central energy channel because we have these subtle energy channels that allows us to experience the energy of peace, of love, of knowing what to do in terms of intuition, receiving the creative inspiration, and being aware of the synchronicity. We need to have our energetic system clear. That's right. So we have a system. Keep moving as I'm talking. I want you to get used to focusing when you're out there in that world of consciousness that comes at us, bringing data into our nerve receptors in such astounding amounts that we experience more data in one day than our grandparents experienced in their lifetimes. And if you can really get into that breath, as you got a rhythm to the movement now. We want you to open up the center before we tune in. Experience an opening of tuning in with the breath before we go to the sound, yeah? Because the breath generates sound. This is an act right here. This is a nice hors d'oeuvre, or appetizer. Of prana right here, really powerful. If you are feeling congested in your day, maybe just foggy in your mind, really opening up the spine first, feeling it flexible and warming up, feeling the movement of the hips, warming up the area below your belly button. You start feeling the area warm up. And then drop your mind into that breath. And if you really have anything going on, you add the mantra, right? That'll deepen you into feeding your soul. That's really giving your soul that nourishment. So you inhale Sat, exhale Nam. Now long inhale, reach your crown into the heavens. Feel yourself looking out through the lids, eyelids, and into the stars of creation. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Hold, lift the muscles of the pelvic floor, your root center, this Mool Bandha, foundation for naming creation. Activate this energy. Let the Kundalini rise. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Hold. Lift the muscles of the pelvic floor. Long as you're not on your cycle of pregnant. If you are, just a light pull of the pelvic muscles. So just lift the floor slightly. Hold yourself as that container of life force and prana, or life force and consciousness, excuse me. Exhale out the mouth. Beautiful. Palms facing up, resting on the knee or your thighs. Touch the index finger and thumb together, this mudra of knowledge. Just let the breath flow. And be aware of what it feels like to consciously breathe. All right, when you focus on consciously breathing, you're directing the mind towards the responsibility to feed the soul. Now, our goal is to do that with our waking consciousness. From the time our head begins to become aware that we're resting on the pillow, to the time we return to our pillow, that we strive to be in that state of consciously breathing and allowing the mind to focus on that. So we cultivate our relationship with our three lovers: intuition, inspiration, and synchronicity. Okay, beautiful. So opening up the heart center, we're going to, so we want to have a sense of awakening the creative faculty of our communication from the presence, rather than from the past, where we calculate data. And sometimes, I'm not saying that's bad, but what we're doing is we're cultivating a connection to being present, cultivating that connection to being present, to the true fact that we are one with our Creator and we are its creation. And therefore, we're igniting the awareness of our superhuman ability. This is superhuman ability to create. That's a superhuman ability. So I want to acknowledge that that comes from the vibratory resonance of our oneness with our Creator, which over time humans have embodied that with the label of soul. So we want to really bring this with this breath, right, as we open up and we come in. So we're going to do a flow. So we open up and feel the shoulder blade squeeze, because there's energetic points, the roots to your heart center, as well as energies connected to the ribs, that opens up your creative faculties and really clears the baggage. And I don't know about you, but mosquitoes in Costa Rica, I don't know about your area of the world, but they have a tendency, when they know you're aware, they have a sense of going where you're not aware. And that's to the back, right? So you get the back of your arm will get bit, or the back of your leg, or, there's this energy. So to be aware, to open up your awareness, and really when you open up, feel the squeeze of the shoulder blades. I want you to be aware of the 360-degree energy that you are. All right? Okay. So holding this ball of energy. And as we come, you're kind of going to a little spinal flex. So the hips are involved with this movement. And as you come, right, you create this arch. So your hips will go to stretch the spine. That, if this is the top of the hips, you'll create that. As the hips go back, they'll create that stretch of the spine. And then you come up and the top of the hips go forward. So you'll feel this when you go with that opening. All right, you'll add a little spinal flex to it. And this is going to increase the cleansing of the negative energies, or those energies, as we said, that are there for you to transmute as the sun grows in the sky towards summer solstice, and you become aware of what you need to change, how you need to activate the seeds that you're planting, how you need to clear, the circumstances that come up. They start to be just an awareness of how you need to clear the energy for the presence. Okay? cupping your ball of energy. And the more we come out and in, I want you to begin to feel the prana between your hands. Okay? Closing your eyes. Leave them about 1/10 open so you can have a sense of the movement of your hands and maybe even see the energy in between there. All right, beautiful. Here we go. Inhaling long and deep through the nose. Exhaling long and deep through the mouth. Feel the belly button draw towards the spine as long as it's comfortable for you. Inhaling nose. Flexing the spine, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Exhale, mouth. Inhale, nose. Feel you opening up to the sun, linked to all the stars of creation. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Mouth. Nose. Mouth. Inhale, nose. Exhale, mouth. Last inhale through the nose. Hold, open. Feel the heart centers open to the sun, the central sun, beaming this energy into your heart center, clearing all blockages and obstacles, all issues transmuted. Exhale, mouth. Hold on the exhale. Feel yourself in the womb of consciousness and prana. Empty. Zero. As you now inhale through the mouth, claiming your true identity. Exhale, nose. Releasing. Inhale, mouth. Filling with that life force. Exhale, nose. Mouth. Squeeze those shoulder blades. Open the heart. Exhale, nose. Feel that flex of your spine. Inhale, mouth. Nose. In mouth. Exhale, nose. Inhale, mouth. Exhale, nose. Inhale, mouth. Exhale, nose. Inhale, mouth. Last time. Hold. Lift the muscles of the pelvic floor slightly. Feel the energy rising up the spine as you feel the cosmic energy coming into your heart center. Squeezing the shoulder blades. Exhale, nose. Hold the air out. Feel the emptiness into a oneness with the source in the womb of creation. Now inhale and just hold your breath. And then exhale out the nose. And just hold your ball of energy for a moment. As if you'd gathered this nourishment for your soul. To allow this love for your being to be one with this breathing process. And that you can gather this energy You can gather this energy whenever you need it. Mm. Long and deep. Just allowing the energies to balance and regulate now. So allow the breath as you play with your ball. Now your sphere of energy, you might go out, come back in, but allow the movement of your hands to be connected to the long, deep breathing. In your nose and out your mouth. Long, flowing breath, regulating and balancing the energies that we were activating with those movements in your lymphatic system, your circulatory system, as well as your system of light that they call the nadis in the yogic teachings. I mean, you may go out and come back in on that exhale. Or come back in on the inhale. So feel it, how it feels for you. This is a practice of tuning in with the life force. And the way we're designed, it will feed the core of your being, the essence of your being, as the life force and consciousness does. We're just joining in the design. When we join in the design, we're joining in with the designer. And therefore we know if this love can take care of trillions of cells, then we know this love is going to take care of us, no matter what the circumstance. I could tell you some circumstance stories. So whenever you're feeling the energy of the sun growing, know that you're growing with it. And you can just, even practicing this, just inhaling and opening and becoming aware of the energy. And now, to end this meditative practice with the prana, bring your ball of energy into this sweet, sweet size of a grapefruit or apple or mango. Feel it, feel the love in it. Feel the love all around you. Feel the sphere radiating energy. And just draw it in. Draw it into your heart center. But let your palms rest above your heart center rather than pressing into it. And feel it begin to glow with that energy. Give it a color. Maybe there's a temperature. Maybe there's a flow like honey. But feel it spread throughout your body, illuminating your body with that light. Going into areas that are needed. Feeling the love that takes care of you through the breath. Feel that love going to parts of your body. And now maybe going into circumstances that you're facing. Going out. So hold this position. I want you to get used to being in your meditation while you are gathering information. So a little recap. We'll go into our vision of peace, and then we'll flow into our day as empowered, creative, love beings. So today is about how to feed your soul and the importance of that. And the importance, well, here we are feeding our soul. So you got how to do that. Consciously breathing is a simple way to put it. Then you can venture into all the different ways you can consciously breathe and set up that table before your enemies. And then those enemies get transmuted into allies. Yeah. They might not do things the way we like, but when we can transmute the energy and begin to see what we collectively need and provide space for us to receive our needs, then there's no reason for us to be enemies. The fear is just showing you that it needs your attention. And the effect of the fear inside you is showing you the need to feed your soul. So be with that this week. Be with that in those circumstances that come up. Because that is the importance of feeding your soul, because the energy of the sun is growing stronger, which means the energy of the sun in us is growing stronger. And when we are unaware of our ability and our connection, then we can lose awareness of who we truly are, and then we lose awareness of our abilities, and then these circumstances take place, and that becomes the driving force of our naming ability of the mind, right? That drives the mind to name the experience of life. So as you're holding your hands, feel this energy of love as we drop into our prayer and vision for peace and go into our lives. Do a little writing, just a little, even if it's 1 minute. Jot down a word or something to be an anchor of awareness for yourself today. Maybe you might drop into something you need to create, ask questions, or, how can I use this energy that I'm facing in my life to serve my soul, to feed my soul? Drop into a little of that before you move to the next task if you have the time. And if you don't, you have to drop into the next task and just drop into it with long, deep breathing and just begin to see the miracles unfolding from task to task. Okay? Everybody all right? I love you. I'm so happy you were able to switch your day around so for us to gather and resonate this energy. So let's get into it. Here we are around this fire of love, and thank you, Creator, for bringing the rhythm of life in these hearts, these corazones, to this fire of amor. Thank you so much for igniting that fire within, and have every cell with its mitochondria stoking that fire for us to have these regenerative spacesuits to walk around Mother Earth and create in ways that we experience your presence within our presence and this creative love that flows from us, transforming all the challenges into opportunities. Thank you so much for this fulfillment that comes with every breath, that inspiration, intuition, and synchronicity that sets us in the right place to experience our superhuman abilities. Thank you for this deep love. As we hold the vision of this love flowing through every cell of our body, we allow this vision of love to flow out to our families, to flow out in the awareness of the waters of life, taking care of the children, where they can have the peace in the areas where they're growing enough to experience the joy of playing in the water, the joy of being nourished by the waters, cleansed by loving hands. We see them smile and looking into the eyes of their caregiver, and that smile of love and the heart energy connecting and the waters of life flowing so that they can grow their food and they can have materials to build sanctuaries of love, these houses that become a home of love, the Casa de Amor, that they can be together and be nourished by each other's presence and become inspired to create beauty together as a family. Oh, we feel it. We feel the beauty in their eyes as they look at each other, as they tuck each other in to go to sleep. They say those prayers together. Maybe they sing songs together. Maybe they dance as they plant seeds in their gardens, but we see they have everything they need to be at peace and everything they want to serve their soul. We breathe this in and we give thanks and lovingly allow it to be. So take your hands and just bring the energy of your heart to this area of your cranial mind, just cleansing the sensory inputs so that they see the opportunity to love and the opportunity to create solutions to the challenges we face and to see what there is to be grateful for. Family, so blessed by your presence. We will be here Wednesday next week, now that I won't be traveling next week. And I'll do my best not to do it on a Wednesday. Love you. Thank you for shifting your schedule around, taking time to be together. Keep that breath going, that kind of movement. Even if you feel any mental, emotional congestion, simply drop into that conscious breathing and be that lovely, powerful peacekeeper of love that you were born to be. All right, till next week, Creator willing, I will see you then. All right, one love, family. One love.